good day, everyone, and welcome to Obedient Family TV, the program now Hope Are Alive. Yes, Hope Day for those that believe that a new Nigeria is possible. Today will be Tuesday. We don't come, make we come talk some things. So we say it dey happen for Nigeria as hardship and economic protest against Tinubu. Don't they go round across from city to city? And again, we get the nurses where we say their issues just they bring about shutdown to the sector, or that is the health sector. So we won't discuss a whole lot of things, especially as tomorrow be Valentine's Day. And Nigerians will be say then day for Lagos. They don't talk say they go organize, arrange themselves for Lagos to do what they call a special Valentine's Day protest against the hardship where we say it happen for Niger. All of these ones now we want to talk, and not be only midday studio today. I get Divine for studio.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
So we'll go, as you join us wherever you dare, I beg make you like and subscribe, and as you like, make you give the thumbs up button so that other obedience and well-meaning Nigerians they go know say Hope Alive program for Obedient Family TV don't come. So make we start with waiting what happen tomorrow will be Valentine's Day. Well-meaning Nigerians, not just obedient, but well-meaning Nigerians who are seeing the high economic activity that is happening, hardship in Nigeria, they have decided that tomorrow being Valentine, they are going to show some love to Nigerians. So, showing some love to Nigeria means gathering themselves together somewhere in Lagos and then protesting, non-violent, but peaceful protest to show the hardship that is going on in Nigeria. So, we'll start this discussion, Divine. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Right.
And it's a show of love for us. It's a show of love for Nigerians to come out en masse to show the government that there is actually hunger in the land, especially if they are not feeling it. What do you have to say?
Well, I think the best Nigerians can do, or the most love Nigerians can do, is to be patriotic during this season of love. And it's in this spirit of patriotism that Lagosians have decided to come out in their masses, in their numbers, and also, complain and make their voices heard. So I think that's a very patriotic thing to do, and also shows how much love they have for their country. Hopefully the government hears them and, put plans in motion so we don't have to come back for this.
And I think it should be replicated, not just because Valentine's Day is celebrated all over the world.
Right.
And it's not just about Lagos. The economic hardship is not just about Lagos,
right,
but it's touching every nook and cranny in Nigeria. You understand me?
Right.
Touches the poor, at least we know. Not
Yes.
We don't know about the rich, because at least they can sort themselves out. But other cities should also look at it from the perspective of hardship and come out in a peaceful protest to show the government that really hunger is in the land.
Right. Well, I think not just the people, because there's a lot of responsibility on the people instead of the people we actually voted into government. So in this spirit of love, I hope our politicians are able to show us the same love by actually looking into the demands and cries of Nigerians all over the world, and also looking for ways to make life bearable for them. So return the love Nigerians have shown you guys, and just make sure you do what you need to do. So
okay, while still on the protest issue, I think we should give kudos to the Nigerian nurses that came out yesterday in their numbers, not just in FCT, we see them in Lagos, FCT, and then other branches. And we see this very certificate verification controversy, the protest that denotes and the threat to shut down the health sector. They need, if the government does not hearken to their demand, which is simply to lift these restrictions that they feel is very burdensome. And they came out in their numbers, and this is the way I'm expecting Nigerians to come out in solidarity for this very hardship that is coming out, that is happening. Let's take some tweets that is, on X, how the reactions that are coming from there. We have this one that is coming from Baby Girl for Life. She says, seeing the massive turnout of the protest made my heart so full. This generation of nurses, you know, it's really, this new generation of nurses are not like those times when they see our mothers are just there, the old ladies that don't want to talk and all of that. But now we see young people who are going into the profession, you understand? And they've seen that the profession is actually something that if Nigerians are not giving them what they need, they take it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see the turnout that comes from the protest. It goes to show that there's no hope lost, and at least people are putting all hands on deck to make sure the plight of nurses does not go unnoticed, right? You don't have to be a nurse to relate to the pain that they are feeling. It could be anybody, right? Injustice to one is injustice for all. And so, yeah, just kudos to the people that came out to talk and to lend their voices to this cause.
Yeah, we have this one from Oluwakemi who said, verification of license is not only for traveling purposes, it is also for academic purposes, scholarship purpose, grant purpose, fellowship purpose, and so on, just to mention a few. And of course, she also outlined that the new rule is not in line with global practice. Then we had this man, I think the registrar of the Nurse Council, came on national TV to say it's a practice worldwide. How do you say that people have to stay for 2 years before you can actually verify them, as the case may be, or 6 months to vet? I mean, it's really ridiculous to say it's a world practice.
Well, speaking of which, the 2 years time that they're asking for is not just laughable. It just shows that you gave these people this certificates, right? So why do you need 2 years to verify it? It's just contradicting the whole credibility of them as a body, because you thought these people were deserving of a certificate. So why do you still proceed to say they need some kind of 2 years to verify it? Are you saying that you don't trust your own judgment?
Exactly.
Right? So it's just very sad. And I hope, and yes, it is way, way not in line with global practice, because health sector and health sector workers are treated with utmost respect because they are one of the lifelines of a working economy. So yeah, this is not in line with global practice, and they should do better.
Okay, let's. Our take on this is that the nurses that are protesting, they should. We like the attitude of having a peaceful protest. They should continue with their demand until their demands are met. The economic hardship under this very government is not just about their verification. It's also about how much they are to pay, which goes into thousands of naira. That is it, 300,000?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So where are they expected to pay? And we learned that these people earn like 50,000 naira a month.
Oh, barely. I think 30,000.
Oh, so this hardship is really getting to them. Now let's look at other things that we see that the IMF confirmed return of a petrol subsidy. This is coming from a report from one of the dailies today that Tinubu, through the back door, is implementing subsidy again. And they say that IMF confirmed the return of petrol subsidy by Tinubu. This is what they say. That is the International Monetary Fund. Now, if this is true, what they actually said is that the Nigerian government has, through the back door, resumed the payment of subsidies on the premium motor spirit, which is PMS, otherwise known as petrol. Now, recall that on May 29, 2023, during his speech, Chief Bola Tinubu announced an end to the petrol subsidy, triggering a hike in the prices of goods and services in the country. Few weeks later, Central Bank of Nigeria collapsed different exchange rate regimes into one, with the value of the naira to the dollar weakening. Right. Now, since that very time, which we can look back like 6 months, 5 months back, and that threw Nigeria into the economic crisis that we are in now.
Right.
From what the reports are saying, it looks like through the back door, as at the time that Tinubu removed the oil subsidy, the dollar to naira was as at 700, 600 to 700 thereabout. And now we are faced with 1,400 thereabout, which gives you 100% increase. Now, it seems like the IMF, this thing that Bola Tinubu has, is still paying subsidy, may be correct. Why I say so? Because this very petrol we are talking about is deemed to have been imported. And the import we are talking about is being paid in dollars. You understand me? So if it comes in as at that very pricing, there is no way the price as at that time they valued it as 600 or 500 naira would not have jumped to petrol of 1,000 pump price. So there is every reasonable probability that there might be truth in what we hear about this.
Well, the IMF is a very notable body, right? And so when they bring out reports like this, there's utmost truth in it, if not 100% truth in it, right? And what's just sad to see is that even in the payment of the subsidy, you can tell that it's not being done transparently, and it's just a group of people somewhere benefiting from all of this, right? The point you raised about petrol or pump price being the same over 3 months ago, even when there's increase in the dollar rate, just shows that there's actually some level of truth to it, because truly we're being this crude oil is being imported and paid in dollars. And so if there was truly removal of the subsidy, it should have reflected in the current pump price, but it's not doing that. So it just shows that truly the report from the IMF is very much correct. And
so as of last Friday, the naira was exchanged with $1 at the official market price of 1,469 naira per dollar, and in the parallel market at 1,490. Now, over the weekend, the IMF issued a statement on the conclusion of its executive board post-financing assessment with Nigeria, and it expressed concern that the government had capped the prices of fuel at retail station. Now, the global render advised the administration of Chief Bola Tinubu to completely stop the payment of subsidies on petrol to free funds to run the government. Well, I think we just have to leave it at that. For the people who look at this very development, go to comment section, tell us what you think. Do you really think that Tinubu is paying subsidies through the back door? You can check that. Then let's take this as a tweet. Government has no plan and it still has no plan of concerning subsidy removal. That is coming from Arise. Still on the same story, they said everything Tinubu rolled out are industrial policies, not policies to deal with the outcome of subsidy removal. This is coming from Sam Amadi. Let's take a listen for this very interview of Sam Amadi saying that Tinubu has no plans for Nigeria after the removal of this very subsidy and still paying by the back door. Let's take a listen.
We never had it this way. I mean, in terms, not just in terms of the Biden hardship, but it's also in terms of the public outcry. One could be tempted to say, well, things were also bad under Buhari. I mean, why didn't these guys speak up? So it could be that Buhari had some kind of, status or whatever. But like Emma said, it got worse. It didn't start now, it got worse. So the key first point is that probably we're getting to a point where the Nigerian elites are waking up to the fact. It started building up. It was a gradual slope, and we have gotten to the maybe close to bottom of this pit that we've gotten more significantly since 2015, when economic policy, in my view, diverted away and diverged from, taking the people as a metric. Under Buhari's 8 years, there was a sense in which one expected that Buhari was going to be Talakawa. I mean, he come from the people, and therefore public policy could respond to the concerns of the ordinary people.
That's pro-Talakawa.
But he was elitist. And that was surprising. It's a major study for political economy to say, why should somebody who is a champion, who came to power as the leader of the downtrodden, engage in policies that are actually elitist? If you look at budgets, public finance going to critical drivers of development, we didn't have that. Today, that's not compounded. Now, Tinubu's campaign manifesto, if you read it very well, seems to something like what we call in economic development a social market, where the idea is to govern the market, use it to address social benefits. But I think since he took over power, the elitism got more, and the whole idea, think around removing subsidy. I mean, Bayo said there was a consensus. Yes, there was a consensus that subsidy was inefficient, but the structure of the removal
and the timing.
And what he put in place, I was part of some of the conversation with Labour Party and meeting the Chief of Staff. What I saw really, and I told Labour President was that government had no plan. Government had no plan. Up to now, the CNG, they had no plan on mitigation. Everything that Tinubu rolled out are what we call industrial policy. They are policies about growing the economy, not policies about dealing with the outcome of the first. Take, for example, say you're going to look for industrial champions, give them grant. That's not going to, in the short to medium term, that will not result in mitigating the fact that the woman is going to pay more for transport, electricity, pay more for fuel, everything. It cascades down to everything. So the point here is three things. I think first is, are we seeing enough commitment to address this problem? Forget the technical solutions. They may be struggling to find it. But the empathy. So when you're talking about 500 million for a committee to review minimum wage, it speaks to the disconnection. It speaks to executive lack of sympathy and engagement. Because first, we want to see leaders really put a skin in the game. That means they themselves say, you know what, these are hard. We want to feel it like you do. So we shun 160 million vehicle doesn't speak like that. 500 million to inaugurate a committee is total reckless irresponsibility. So I think that the message of the Kanu governor is very clear. It seems so far things are difficult and governments are responding.
So it's still the same talk about subsidy months and months after Tinubu said that the subsidy has been removed. This subsidy, as we now see, is back through the back door, and still Nigerians are paying high for this very petrol. Anyway, we see how it turns out, but like we said, we need to really look at these things. So many of them, Remi Tinubu also professed about this very removal. Let's even listen to what she said about this.
Like a woman in labor is about to birth. These are hard, but when I saw all those children lined up the street, I see that removal of fuel subsidy is for their future. We can come and do government as usual, business as usual, but I would tell you that certain things happen that would change the trajectory of your thinking. While in the Senate, people are forgotten so easily. Whenever I'm going home for the weekend, there are times I'll be at the airport for 7 hours. During these 7 hours, I ran into two former governors. One of them is late now. And they were trying to board a flight, and they were stuck like I was. And I kept looking at them. These are people given opportunities to be chief executive at one time or the other. If they are put out the right things, they live well, they have money. But maybe possibly what they did not know was maybe buy an aircraft. They didn't know things would become that bad. But you see, we have seen things, and when we see things, at my age, I'll be 64 this year. I want to work for you, and I believe that Mr. President has the same drive.
Okay, so we have heard from Remi Tinubu. He said the removal of oil subsidies for Nigerians, but as we know now, we know better that they are paying that through the back door. And of course, we know it's corruption and is going across the people who are going to read themselves. So away from this let's now look at the hardship that this very removal of oil subsidy has brought to Nigerians. That is where the whole thing is coming, that rice is 75,000 naira per bag and everything is rising. You can't even talk about something that is imported. And we are now hearing from Remi Tinubu that Nigeria should go on prayers. And we now hear another one coming from Pastor Adeboye that Nigerians, that the problem is really spiritual and not physical. I don't know if there is what is called spiritual hunger
Yeah.
I think spiritual hunger has to deal with you wanting to be spiritual, going to church and all of that. What about the real hunger, the physical hunger? The reason why people are on the streets is because they are under hungry. You understand me? So why would Pastor Adeboye come up front to say that it is spiritual? Do you really think that it is spiritual hungry that is happening in Nigeria?
Oh, speaking of spiritualities and spiritual hunger, right? First off, hunger is a very, very present and physical situation, right? We feel it in the present. Even if there's anything like spiritual hunger, we feel it in our physical bodies, right? So speaking of that, I don't buy the idea that the problem of Nigeria is spiritual. And even if it is, we have a lot of pastors and a lot of clerics and a lot of religious people for that. So I think they should focus on the spiritual aspect if that is what is needed. But I think Nigeria is in the place where it is currently because of the bad governance and the bad leadership of the people we have put in power, or the people who stole their way to power, rather. Speaking of that, it's like saying
many branches across Nigeria to send the information so that they can go to maybe 2 months of fasting, dry fasting, so that they can be able to solve the issue of, the spiritual issues. But for the physical issues, I think it is the government's position. Let's even have a listen to this very Malcolm's tweet. He said, Tinubu and the governors are in office to fix Nigeria, not to do their best like Buhari. Said, kindly stop misinforming Nigerians that their problem is spiritual, because if it is your prayers and fasting will have solved it. Pastor, our problem is political, not spiritual. So stop playing the ostrich, because Nigerians can now see the light and we stand up for good governance no matter what you say. Yes. Now, I think, yes, Malcolm is saying is okay. Then we have another one coming from the area Father Charlie Boy, who says, oh, this man again, the same man where the young Nigerians say him they drink tea with God every morning. In contact say you hear the smell. He say, Oga Adeboye, no they use God's name in vain. No they take religion, they come mumu Nigerians. Make God no come vex for you one day. Now that one now from area father. Then we get the one of Peter Obi's first son. He said Jonathan was the problem of Nigeria from 2010 to 2015. Then 2015 to 2024, Nigerian problem is now spiritual. If you talk now, they will say I have insulted our daddy G.O. Now, we can see a picture of Adeboye when they were protesting against Jonathan. Placards with all the pastors in the church and all the people we respect in the society. They all came out to protest. Now, look at the kind of hunger and the kind of banditry, insecurity that is in the land. And that the GO and all other people, they keep mute. They're silent, as if there is nothing going on in Nigeria. Yet every day we hear that 500 million ransom has been paid, 50 million ransom has been paid, a number of people has been killed. We'll be hearing it. And we expect them to come and lead the same people to the streets to show that there is hardship, but they are not doing that.
Well, I think the Nigerian clerics should stop playing favoritism politics, right? Because that is what I can see from all of this. Truly, they smell, according to area father. Because I don't see why you're going to come out and actually raise placards in rejection of another government speaking about their ills. And fast forward years later, you seem to have adopted a rather, diplomatic, stance when it comes to the problem of Nigeria. Because we saw pictures of you coming out to say, stop the killing, stop all of that. But lately, it's just a lot of, diplomacy. Let's just pray to God. Let's do this. Let's fast. But that was not the same energy you were keeping years back. And now it begs the question, because it's like, are you really, as true as you claim to be? Because with what we're seeing here, it's just a lot of favoritism politics going on. And
okay, while we are still at the religious thing also, we know that there's a breaking news that Tinubu has granted reduction in cost for 2024 Hajj pilgrimage. Now, this very something, when I hear this thing and I read them, the thing just they me like say, these people just they misplace the priorities where they for Nigeria. People will be say they want travel, go do prayer, worship to God. Those people, then they go whether na Israel, they won't go for Christians, or Saudi Arabia for the Muslim. Now people will be say they rich. People will be say they get money to buy millions in air tickets. Now in government, they carry more money they go give. Somebody where I even know, can they compare that subsidy where then they give to the one where we say they give for people where we say they travel for Xmas, and the thing just laugh me. I say, you look at why you are dealing with the masses, people that cannot afford to travel, you did 50% of their travel. But the people who they are traveling to promote another economy wey be say e don strong already, now you they add more money, they subsidize their own rate. We are not saying it's bad to go for pilgrimage. We are also not saying it's bad for government to subsidize, but not at this very time. We are at the time when Nigeria needs every kobo they can put together to reduce the poverty. Even the grain when they talk say they won't bring from reserve, nobody don't see anything. Hunger in the land.
Well, speaking of which, I just think, like you said, it's misplaced priorities, because first of all, anybody who can afford to go for pilgrimage during this period with the current exchange rates, then I don't think you're part of the people who are carrying placards speaking of hunger, because apparently you have enough to eat and even to spare to travel. So those group of people are not the people you want to start subsidizing whatever for. I mean, I'm all for, seeking God and all of that, but at this time in the nation's economy and with the current plight of Nigerians, with the raving penury in the land, it is not, such a smart move for you to direct funds going to go and subsidize, the Hajj pilgrimage cost, because obviously these people have a lot of money to spare, right? We have people who are out here, they don't know where their next meal is coming from, and you sit right there, there's banditry in the land, people are being kidnapped left, right, center, and
so please make your comments and your thoughts on this. Do you think that it is Nigerians' priority right now to sponsor or subsidize people who are traveling outside at this very time in time? So with that very one, we'll still talk about the things where we say they concern prayers, where some obedience and well-meaning Nigerians they talk about. So if we won't talk about this very particular thing, I will want us to look in depth. On 25th of February 2023, Nain Yakubu, waiting the column, Mahmoud Yakubu, right. Nain by light for our head. Now, some Nigerian youths talk say they won't do national prayer on the 25th of February, and they won't call that very prayer as a day that they set aside to curse Mahmoud Yakub Mahmoud. So why would they bring them? We know they talk say it's bad to do prayer, so as we talk the other one, but he gets some things where we say with the thing he be saying misplaced priorities. Why? Because if this man don't already do the deed, he has already done the deed, and we have another 3 years remaining to deal with it. So if you go and you say you want to place a curse on him, yes, he will live with his curse and all of that. But we get prayer house where plenty will be said and they rent these courses like every Sunday. And people will be said and they for their own house, for inside their own hearts, then they lay curse on this man every day. Why we know if you carry this energy, come back to government. Tell government where don't enter in the name of Chief Bola Tinubu say hunger day and people they suffer. Why not march to the street to let him see you and feel your pain? And let the church deal with the spiritual cursing What do you think?
Oh yeah, courses in this part of the world is something that we're very rampant with. Every 2 market days is somebody saying something about laying a course on somebody. But I think Nigerians have a lot of courses, or a lot of courses have been released to Nigerian politicians so long that you start to question how much of them actually works, because they're very much alive and, you know, still stealing enough money to go around for their generations, right? So, like I said, this is misplaced priorities, and I understand their pain. Matter of fact, if courses worked, that said a lot to have him, you know, but
Tinubu wouldn't have been on the throne.
Right, because a lot of us every day we had ourselves.
Oh, sorry, Tinubu wouldn't be in Aso Rock if courses do work.
Right, but what we're trying to say, like Omoyele said, we have to pay attention to the right things. We have to go for corrective measures, right? Because we are already in the ditch, we're already in the bad place. We need something to, you know, make Nigeria better, and so we should focus on the right things to do.
Okay, why we, as our time don't they give us signal, make we do waiting. You get somebody will talk say, if you are 40 years, if you are up to 40 years and you are supporting Tinubu, say you get sawdust for your head. Make we even listen as he take talk am. For those people who will be say, then see the thing say, this hardship where we dey no be man made. Let's take a listen.
If you're a youth and you are under 40, whether you're a graduate or you're not a graduate, and you are supporting Tinubu, ori ti daru pátápátá, ori o ti daru. In fact, sawdust low and no apology, sawdust. I don't owe anybody any apology. If you are under 40, let me say it again, and you are supporting Tinubu, apology ti daru. If in fact your parents supposed to, if you're a graduate, your parents supposed to collect their money back from you, the money they invested in you by sending you to university, they're supposed to collect it back from you because you are a failure, total failure. Okay, I still don't know why a reasonable human being will support Asiwaju Ongbewere Bola Adekunle Tinubu.
So if you be anyone under 40 years old, I know this is why they laugh. I smile at the smile, no be laugh. If you talk say you know fit comot, say you dey fear to comot, make you follow your own people for this very time between this February where we dey. Make you comot come show say you know dey alright, say hunger dey. The man talk say check the sawdust. When say wetin dey your brain na sawdust. You think is that correct?
Yeah, very, very much correct. At some point, Seth, you start questioning if there's actually sawdust. It might just be empty and echoing, right? So, yeah, if you support Tinubu and his government, I'm not trying to police anybody's political choices, but if we see their antecedents, we can already tell that, like the Bible said, by their fruits we shall know them. We can already tell that these people have nothing good in store for Nigerians. And so I buy into this ideology.
Okay, so I beg, as we dey wind up now, time don't give us signal. And signal be say make we carry the comot for studio. But before we do, I go say make you for like and share this very video where we did make other obedient know say Obedient Family TV dey on, and then talk about many issues concerning Nigeria, especially as tomorrow be Valentine's Day. Make people join in love, in unity to do what? To show the government that Nigeria needs to breathe. Thank you very much for watching us. Till we come back your way. Bye for now.